That morning, I stood in front of the mirror, not to fix my hair or straighten my collar, but to look deeply into the eyes staring back at me. I saw a person who had grown used to nodding before answering, to saying, "It's fine," even when my heart was full of unspoken words, and to smiling just to please others, even when my soul was exhausted. Have you ever felt the same? Bit by bit, we shrink ourselves to fit the expectations of others. It starts with a single act of yielding, then one moment of silence when we should have spoken up, and before we realize it, we're living more for others than for ourselves. There's an invisible boundary between who we truly are and the version of ourselves the world wants us to be. The dangerous thing is, every time we cross that boundary to please someone else, a part of our true self is left behind. Marcus Aurelius once said, "We love ourselves more than anyone else, but care more about the opinions of others." That quote is like a mirror reflecting how we live. When you lower yourself, you teach the world how to treat you. And the harsh truth is, the world rarely treats you better than the standard you set. Epictetus also warned, if something costs you your self-respect, the price is too high, no matter what is promised in return. No reward, promise, or benefit is worth trading away your integrity. Integrity, your personal honor and self-respect, is the most precious asset you own. Lose it, and you lose everything. Speech balloon. Pause for 3 seconds of reflection. Looking back on the past week, was there a moment you crossed your own boundary just to please someone else? There was a time when I felt I needed to explain every decision. If I declined an invitation, I'd list every reason why. If I chose a different path, I'd lay out every cause so others could understand. But the more I did that, the weaker I felt, as if each explanation was a tiny piece of my confidence being chipped away. Epictetus once said, "If what you do aligns with your values, the only person you owe an explanation to is yourself." So I started answering briefly and decisively. Instead of, "I'm sorry, I'm busy, I have this and that to do," I simply said, "Thank you for the invitation. I won't be able to join this time." At first, I feared people would think I was cold or uncaring. But surprisingly, they respected my decision more. No extra questions, no debates, and I kept my energy intact. Speech balloon. Pause for reflection. Think of the last time you over-explained. If you could redo it, could you say less while still being clear? In a noisy world, people assume you must speak louder to be heard. I used to believe that, trying to tell more shocking stories, share more impressive things, only to feel empty when the spotlight faded. Marcus Aurelius once reminded, "Your worth is not in the praise you receive, but in what you do when no one is watching." So I stopped chasing attention. I focused on living by my goals and principles. And then, attention came naturally, quietly, without noise. Speech balloon. Pause. If you didn't have to prove anything to anyone, what would you do differently today? There are environments and relationships you know, deep down, do not respect you. In the past, I always felt the need to explain when I left. Long messages, full reasons, hoping they would understand. But Seneca once said, "You owe no one an explanation for protecting your peace." I tried leaving silently. No drama, no announcements, no arguments. And I realized, silence was not weakness. It was dignity. Speech balloon. Pause. If you walked away from a toxic relationship without explaining, would it really be as bad as you think? Time is the one thing you can never get back. Yet many give it away to anyone, for anything, as if it were endless. I used to be like that, answering calls at any hour, accepting invitations that disrupted my plans, spending hours on aimless conversations. When it came time to do the work that mattered to me, I was drained of both energy and time. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Stop debating what a good person should be. Be one." The Stoics value time like gold, not out of selfishness, but because they understand time is life. To give someone your time is to give them a piece of your life you will never get back. Since realizing this, I set untouchable hours every day, reserved for what truly matters to me. No one is allowed to intrude. Speech balloon. Pause for reflection. If you could only dedicate time to your 3 most important tasks tomorrow, what would they be? The more you speak, the less weight your words carry. The Stoics chose intentional silence, not because they had nothing to say, but because they wanted every word to hold power. I remember a meeting where everyone argued to win. I stayed silent, listening to everything. When the room grew tired, I said one short, clear sentence. The room fell silent, not because I was better than anyone else, but because my words came from thought, not reaction. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Let your words be like seeds, few, but capable of taking root." Speech balloon pause. If you spoke half as much today, which words would you choose to keep? Small changes, like over-yielding, prolonged silence, or always trying to please others, can make you invisible. And when you're invisible, the world treats you as if you don't exist. Stoicism teaches, importance doesn't come from the spotlight, but from holding firmly to your principles and values. Remember these 8 truths. There's an invisible line between your true self and the version the world wants. Lowering yourself to be accepted will make your real value overlooked. Integrity is never up for trade. You don't owe excessive explanations. Don't chase attention. Know how to leave quietly. Treat time like gold. Speak less, but say something worth hearing. You don't need to become the version others expect. You only need to become the version you can look at in the mirror each morning with your head held high. When you stop diminishing yourself, you don't just change how the world sees you. You change how you see yourself. Speech balloon invitation to the audience. Choose one principle and practice it for the next 7 days. After a week, come back and share how your life has changed.